Okay, welcome back everybody to Book Spotlight, and today we're actually going to talk about the first book in a rather lengthy series called Cinder. It's by Marissa Meyer. If you're ever looking for it in the young adult section, if you can find Stephanie Meyer's Twilight books, it's right in front of it. But there is, I will insert here how many books there are in the series. I don't remember, but there's several. That's what I was thinking about, 5. There's quite a few of them. And then there's the spin-off graphic novels that continue the story.
So it just keeps going.
So if you end up liking these books, you've got a ton to read. So the back page, back cover, before I go on, these are all sort of, this series is kind of fairy tale, but in a space, what is it word? Space opera, that's what they call it. I don't know why, but I don't know what's an opera.
Opera sing, yeah. That's where my brain went.
It's a space opera, kind of a space adventure sort of thing. And the series is called The Lunar Chronicles, and this book is Cinder. Cinder wouldn't fit in at a formal ball anyway. Even if she did find dress gloves and slippers that could hide her metal monstrosities, her mousy hair would never hold a curl. And she didn't know the first thing about makeup. She would end up sitting just off the dance floor and making fun of the girls who swooned to get Prince Kai's attention, pretending she wasn't jealous, pretending it didn't bother her, although she was curious about the food. And the prince did know her now, sort of. He had been kind to her at the market. Perhaps he would ask her to dance, out of politeness, out of chivalry, when he saw her standing alone. The precarious fantasy crashed down around her as quickly as it begun. It was impossible, not worth thinking about. She was a cyborg, and she would never go to the ball. And the first 5 paragraphs, and it's got little bits from each of the original stories. Book 1. While her sisters were given beautiful dresses and fine slippers, Cinderella had only a filthy smock and wooden shoes. So the first 5 paragraphs. The screw through Cinder's ankle had rusted, the engraved cross marks worn to a mangled circle. Her knuckles ached from forcing the screwdriver into the joint as she struggled to loosen the screw, one gritting twist after another. By the time it was extracted far enough for her to wrench free with her prosthetic steel hand, the hairline threads had been stripped clean. Tossing the screwdriver onto the table, Cinder gripped her heel and yanked the foot from its socket. A spark singed her fingertips, and she jerked away, leaving the foot to dangle from a tangle of red and yellow wires. She slumped back with a relieved groan. A sense of release hovered at the end of those wires. Freedom. Having loathed the too small foot for 4 years, she swore to never put the piece of junk back on again. She just hoped Iko would be back soon with its replacement. Cinder was the only full-service mechanic at New Beijing's weekly market. Without a sign, her booth hinted at her trade only by the shelves of stock android parts that crowded the walls. It was squeezed into a shady cove between a used net screen dealer and a silk merchant, both of whom frequently complained about the tangy smell of metal and grease that came from Cinder's booth, even though it was usually disguised by the aroma of honey buns from the bakery across the square. Cinder knew they really just didn't like being next to her. A stained tablecloth divided Cinder from browsers as they shuffled past. The square was filled with shoppers and hawkers, children and noise, the bellows of men as they bargained with robotic shopkeepers, trying to talk the computers down from their desired profit margins, the hum of ID scanners and monotone voice receipts as money changed accounts, the net screens that covered every building and filled the air with the chatter of advertisements, news reports, and gossip. So that's the first 5 paragraphs, and if you're interested, just give us a call or stop by. Bye.